What's up, guys? It's me, girl cat Corelli, and this is episode 304 of my Cat Vibe series. Today I'm painting a beach in Zanzibar. I'm out of that flower series. I've painted Sargon of Akkad, so now I felt like I wanted to paint something very different. And I had these experimental panels made of thick board. It's not even masonite. It's not veneer. It's thick board. It's like quarter of an inch thick, I believe. And I had some of these laying around, and they're not perfectly flat. Some of them are warped, and I had some of these old canvas that I had laying around, leftovers from larger cuts. So I wanted to put it all together and paint studies or little paintings and see how this canvas behaves on these boards. And what I discovered, by the way, is that probably I will not be using this grade of canvas anymore because it's way too rough, and despite it being triple primed, it doesn't work. It absorbs oil paint like crazy, and it takes a lot of paint to cover the surface. Even it's as if this canvas is just sucking all the paint in, despite 3 layers of gesso. So I think I won't be using these panels anymore, and I think I won't be using this type of canvas anymore. But anyhow, this painting is a continuation of my African series, which is just called Africa for now. I think there's going to be a variety of series dedicated to the African continent, and looking forward, I'm hoping to one day land on the African continent and explore, travel to different countries. I'd like to go see Nigeria and Niger, perhaps, South Africa, perhaps, Namibia, most likely. There's a lot of countries that I like to visit, and I'd love to paint from real life. And for now, I'm just painting different little things, like, for example, a beach in Zanzibar. Painting from a reference photo, apparently. And there's this fishing boat and the sunset, and it's kind of I thought it was an interesting scene, because the sun is almost setting. It's not the glowing reddish sunset. No, it's kind of the burnt out sunset, and that fishing boat and a couple of more in the back. I think that's what kind of captivated me. I think this is going to be a long series of a lot of things dedicated to Africa. Some of it, I think, is going to be more or less realistic, more or less in the realm of realism, I mean. And some of it is going to be more in the realm of impressionism and symbolism. I think it's a wonderful continent to explore, just like Mesopotamia, ancient Mesopotamia. I think that's, in the Middle East, that's a very charming, captivating region to explore. And I think that the African continent, it's a huge continent with so many things there, so much to explore. And I like to travel there in my mind. Well, frankly speaking, I like to travel in my mind to all sorts of places. Geographical locations and different eras and different times, and even, musically, I travel in different realms. I'm not exactly always here, even though it is really important to be in the here and now. I get it, but as an artist, I'm somewhere. I'm not entirely here. Some part of me is never really here at all. And so, well, this is this landscape panel. I've actually ended up using up these other panels, which I made kind of in one batch. I used up the bulk of those panels for the Nice series, but at least one went for this beach in Zanzibar. Again, I'm using a pretty loose technique. Plus, what I've discovered is that when I'm dealing with this grade of canvas, and it's large grain canvas. You can actually see the grain of the canvas right now. Even though this is my phone, the lighting is fairly poor, but you can see it. The weave is very thick and it's pretty rough. I kind of like it on one hand, but I just think that maybe this grade of canvas is good for larger works, like the previous painting, Sargon of Akkad. It was painted on the same canvas. It's the same grade of canvas, but because it was a large painting, it was easier to paint. But when it comes to these little details and some little accents and that kind of stuff, this thick, grainy canvas gets in the way. It just becomes difficult to paint and fight the medium at the same time. And I don't want to do this. So, well, I mean, this is a lesson well learned. I guess looking forward, and I will just avoid situations like this, unless I'm specifically going for an effect and it has to be rough, a rough texture. This is very rough, really. You can literally see that this is a very imperfect canvas. It's lower grade, it's not even artist grade canvas, but that's exactly what I like about it, and that's why I deliberately went for it. I wanted to try it out, and I had a whole roll of it, and these are the last remnants of that canvas. I don't think I'm going back to this anymore. I just think I will stick with artist grade canvas, and I'll just experiment with really thick canvas and very fine canvas. I'll also try out linen. Haven't tried it out yet. And one other experimental surface that I want to try is polyester. 100% polyester, thick polyester. I think that's going to be interesting because I come across different fabrics, and sometimes I look at the grain of it, at the weave, and it gives me ideas on what kind of painting would sit really well with such texture. What kind of colors would I like to go for, and what it might feel like as the brush bounces off of the fabric. So here we go. This is the painting. Thank you very much for being with me. This painting, just like all the others, will eventually show up in my Etsy store. Meanwhile, click the link below in the description and follow my Etsy store. And if you like something, purchase it today. Thank you. And you will hear me next time. Ciao.